Hey friends, so for this video I'm going to talk about luck, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally read out a blog post or a summary of a blog post that I wrote sometime back last year, right? Okay, here is a bit of my summary of Mark Andreessen's 2007 blog post about James Austin's 4 Kinds of Luck from Austin's 1978 book, Chase, Chance and Creativity. So according to James Austin, there are 4 kinds of luck. There is blind luck, and then there's a second kind of luck is you add variability through tinkering, making like fiddling around with stuff. And then the next class of luck is you add discernment. And then the next class of luck is you add a unique frame of reference. I'll get into this. So blind luck is when something literally falls out the sky into your lap, like finding a $100 bill stuck to your shoe. You didn't do anything to deserve it. Anybody else could have taken advantage of that luck if they were in the same circumstances. So being born wealthy and privileged is a matter of blind luck. There was nothing you could have done to influence the outcome. If you buy a lottery ticket and win, you got lucky, but you did have to buy a ticket. So it doesn't quite count because an effort was made, right? You had to take an action to get lucky. And blind luck is if the winning lottery ticket just appears in your life out of the blue and you didn't do anything about it. Next tier, persistent tinkering luck. So this is level 2. Austin says, a certain level of action stirs up the pot and brings in random ideas that will collide and stick together in fresh combinations. It lets chance operate. And I've defined this is the luck that you get from doing things. So if you write a lot of tweets, if you make a lot of YouTube videos, eventually some of them will do better than others. Maybe you accidentally said something insightful sounding. Maybe you accidentally made something that resonates with some group of people that you don't even know. And people who don't tinker persistently may not appreciate just how the process of tinkering itself fundamentally introduces variability. So let's say you are a B player, right? Like in the ABC scale, your B level ability on average. Even if you are a B player on average, if you consistently create output, you will occasionally produce A plus work by chance. Meaning you didn't, let's say you're drawing and you're trying to draw posture or trying to draw faces or whatever, and you usually get the proportions a bit off and wrong. Occasionally, by chance, you will get the proportions right. And not because you're skilled, but because you're lucky, right? And the thing is, if you produce something uncommonly good out of chance, it will still be recognized. It can still be recognized by an audience or by outsiders or reality, and you can get rewarded accordingly, right? And so I said that in the passive voice. That was intentional, because in the next level you have prepared mind luck, and this is when you introduce your own discernment into the equation. And Louis Pasteur characterized it for all time when he said chance favors the prepared mind. So in this case, you have some idea of what kind of opportunity you're designing for. And James Austin said chance 3 has special receptivity, discernment, and an intuitive grasp of significance unique to one particular recipient. That's you, right? So one classic example is Alexander Fleming discovering penicillin from a spoiled experiment. And the thing about the spoiled experiment is that, a lot of people who hear that story might be like, wow, he got so lucky. But the thing is, it's not just that he was lucky that the experiment was spoiled. He was additionally sensitive enough to notice that there was something about that spoiled experiment that was interesting and valuable, right? There's a similar story of how stainless steel was discovered by accident. This guy Brearley, he was trying to make better gun barrels for World War One. So he was experimenting with steel. And he, by doing a bunch of trial and error with a bunch of steel, he noticed that one set of steel barrels was gleaming because it was shiny. And it technically had no relevance to what he was doing, but he had enough of the tinkerer's insight to realize that he'd stumbled upon something useful, and he was willing to take the time and energy to kind of investigate and figure out why is this different? Why does this seem to be getting a better reaction or getting an uncommon reaction? What can I use this for? Right? That's this discernment, like thinking through the process. And a lot of people are so busy with their lives, they're so busy going about chasing, whether it's money, chasing, trying to meet deadlines, trying to just get through the day, that they're so fixated on the destination that they've set that they can't see interesting things on the periphery. And so, in order to take advantage of something interesting that happens on the periphery, you have to be able to slow down and stop, right? You have to be able to be like, yeah, you know what? I'll be late to that thing if I have to be. Like, I'm just gonna investigate this and check it out. And the willingness to do that is something that differentiates people who are, level 3 lucky and level 2 lucky, right? You recognize when you've stumbled onto something great that nobody else would have in your shoes. And the last one is, I define it as perfect storm luck. Now, to quote Austin says, chance 4 comes to you unsought because of who you are and how you behave. By the time chance 4 finally occurs, the easy and more accessible problems have already been solved earlier by conventional actions, conventional logic, or by the operations of other forms of chance. What remains is a tough core of complex, resistant problems. And such problems yield to none but an unusual approach. Whereas the lucky connections in chance 2 might come to anyone with disposable energy as the happy byproduct of aimless circular stirring of the pot, the links of chance 4 can be drawn together and fused only by one quixotic rider cantering in on his own homemade hobby horse to intercept the problem at an odd angle. Basically, for chance 4 to work its magic, you have to be a high-functioning weirdo. You have to be famous enough or well-known enough for people to come to you with their weird ideas. And also you have to be weirdo tolerant enough that they come to you with their weirdo ideas. And you also have to be productive enough to be able to do something interesting with all of that when it comes to you, right? So that's the kind of gradients of luck, right? And I do think that I have played this out in my own life quite a bit. So if you've clicked around my channel, you may notice I did an interview with David Deutsch. And David Deutsch is a super cool guy. He's a physicist in the UK and he's like published really good books. He's very highly esteemed in like intellectual circles, physics circles, epistemology, if you want to get into that. And I got a chance to interview him because, first of all, I was making these videos regularly. And I have a mutual friend with him, Luli, if you're watching this. And I was going to talk to her, and she just so happened to be in conversation with him. And he just so happened to be kind of in the mood / on the lookout to make a video with someone online, right? And, I'm always talking to as many people as I can who I think are interesting. I had no idea that I would be one connection away from David Deutsch. I had no idea. But I did know that I mean, what do I know? I just know that as long as I'm always prioritizing talking to interesting people, I earn their trust and respect and admiration by being a good friend, helping people out as much as I can and stuff like that. And producing videos regularly demonstrates that I am capable of holding my own in a video, that I can have a conversation. I had multiple other conversations with other people and those went pretty well. There's another one I'm really proud of is one with Bobby Scar, who's part of the Malay community. Another one is with Tucker Max, who used to be kind of a famous writer. I'm kind of surprised my Tucker Max video doesn't have more views, but it is what it is. You never know what's going to happen, right? And one thing led to another, and like Luli asked me, like, can you talk to David? Like, is that something you can? I'm like, yes, I'll do it. And I've done it. And that video has like, I think now 6,000 views and growing. And people find me through that video and they discover the rest of my work. And so that's the other thing, right? It isn't just one video that I made by itself. So when you build a body of work, if someone likes any one of your videos, they can go and watch all of your other videos. And that, is an opportunity for you to kind of build, I don't want to say build a relationship, but like, it lets them build familiarity with your body of work. And Montaigne talked about this like 500 years ago. He said this is why he writes. He writes so that if there's someone of quality character that he wants to get to know, he gives the other person an advantage, like a lead. They get to read about all of his ideas. They get to form a model of him as a person. And so when they have conversations, they skip past all of the early stage stuff. And if you repeat this for many, many different people, You just get all of, so it's strategic is what I'm trying to say. It's strategic to plan to be lucky, and people just say, oh, he just gets so lucky all the time, right? And the thing is, it's not blind luck. It's luck that you prepared for. Chance favors the prepared mind. One way I think about it is that I make my Twitter threads, for example, I think of them as a web. It's a web of threads, and it's like a spider web basically. And it increases the surface area of my thoughts. It allows all of my thoughts to form like this sticky web that lives on the internet, which is a web coincidence. I mean, modern how we think about linkages and text and anyway, it's a web that lives outside of me. It doesn't depend on me. I don't have to be awake. Someone can find my tweets and my writing and my videos. You could be watching this video while I'm asleep, right? And you could find my tweets, and that body of work continues to exist, and it is constantly helping me get discovered by someone who may have, maybe 1,000 people see it, and 900 of them don't like it, and 90 of them think it's all right. It's the last 10 people, one of them might want to start a business with me. One of them might want to, I'm already married, but you can find romantic connections that way. And, so then when you get a great business partner and you get a great romance partner and you get multiple opportunities, people say, oh wow, you're so lucky to have all those opportunities. No, you can collect opportunities. You can set yourself up to receive opportunities. And if you watch my video on word magic, it's like you can increase your conversion rate even by being specific about what you want. Yeah, it's been over 10 minutes, so I don't want to keep going for too long, but I'm trying to say that you can be strategic about getting lucky. And my friend Venkat wrote a blog post about opportunism back in 2007, and he said something like opportunism is the highest leverage and least understood approach to life even. And the thing is, if you catch the right opportunity at the right time, you can profit handsomely from it. And it has very little to do with your character. It's very little to do with your, there's some baseline amount of skill you need to be able to ride the wave properly. But the rest of it is, the thing about the wave is that it's independent of you. It's some broader social movement. It's some broader something else. And yeah, so one way this played out for me in my life was I posted a bunch of t-shirt ideas on Facebook because I thought it would be fun. And I posted it, it was paint.bmp, is that the file? It was like a bitmap, I don't know, it was just MS Paint mock-ups, right? Literally photos of pictures of t-shirts with text on them. And I posted 20 ideas on Facebook, and I just wanted to get a couple of likes maybe. I didn't know what was going to come out of it. But everything you post with earnestness is an opportunity it allows chance to operate in your life. And a friend reached out and said, hey, let's start a business together, which we did. And so we didn't we didn't start printing t-shirts until people had already offered to pay for the t-shirts. They were like, how do I get this? And so we took the money and we printed the t-shirts, and we went on that path. And the cool thing is, then I asked my customers what t-shirts they would like, and that they would get a free t-shirt if their ideas got the most likes. And so our customers helped us come up with some of our best-selling t-shirts. And I didn't know in advance that I wanted, so when I posted the t-shirt ideas, half of it was intellectual wanker philosophy jokes, and a couple of them were Singaporean English jokes. And it just so happened that around the time when I was making that in 2009, 2010-ish, 11, that, Singapore was kind of at a place where people were getting a little bit anxious about, changing demographics, increased immigration, and they want, in my opinion, they wanted to kind of grasp a sense of Singaporean identity. And so Singlish, which is Singaporean English, became something that the population was interested in and proud of. Whereas before, in the preceding years, it was kind of slightly shameful. It was kind of low status to speak Singlish. And now it's it's a marker of Singaporean identity. So it's been raised in esteem. I couldn't have known any of that was going to happen when I was making my t-shirts. I was just making random t-shirts. But those were the t-shirts that people were interested in. So I made more of that. And we sold like thousands of t-shirts, I think, by now. And, you know, we got lucky, right? But we strategized in a way that allowed us to get lucky. And, you know, I would invite you to consider how you might design your life so that you can get lucky too. Let me know what you think. Done.